It just kind of gets their mind on you. Just starting out, if you get somewhere and your horse is looking all over the place and not really caring what you're asking them to do up there, it just kind of gets their mind set on you a little bit more.
And that was when you went around asking, and I noticed your horses, you know, they pick up the leads. I mean, we've talked about the leads, and I know it's very important to you, but I mean, as colts, y'all are really training them. That's probably one of the first things
we do. Stay after them a lot, and I like them to just be able to pick up into a lope and be in the correct lead, not just long trot and then go to a lope. I like them to be able to be cued and just pick up into a lope.
Okay.
You know.
How would you go about training a horse, you know, to kind of do, I mean, what's your program on training a horse to do that?
On picking up the,
yeah.
I'll pick up my inside rein, and I'll really use my opposite foot. If I'm going off to the left, I'm going to cue him with my right foot, and just pick up your inside rein. Use your right foot, pick him up into and I don't want him charging out. I just want him to pick up and lope off nice. I don't want him running off and just staying collected again. If I want him to, if I want him to trot, I'm going to squeeze him with both my legs instead of cueing him with one. Just keeping your cues consistent with these horses.
Well, there's the warm-up routine on that guy. He is a pretty mover. I tell you what, he is absolutely gorgeous to watch just lope around. Maybe see him go around the barrels. Now, Marnie, you're going to show us a little bit about loping some big, correct circles around the barrels, and why do you do that? Tell me again why you do that.
More for horses that are a little bit more hyper. We'll do it to make them relax. I also use it for forward motion. We'll bring them down to some smaller circles for collection. I do that a lot on all the colts, just teaching them to stay relaxed and to lope their circles, keeping the same distance around their barrels.
Well, I'll let you go ahead and start that with him.
Okay. I'll go in and start out with we're going to look at everything. Just keeping the forward motion. Bringing him in a little bit smaller every time I go around. Keeping him moving forward. Keeping his nose tipped to the inside. For the forward motion, kind of keep yourself in the back of your saddle. Squeeze with my calves, keep that horse pushing forward through its turn. Over finish, make him pick up his left lead. Same thing, keep your horse straight, coming into your barrels, and then start out in a bigger circle. Bring him to a smaller circle for collection. If they crossfire, I'm going to break them right back down to a trot. Start out big again. Don't want them to drop the lead in the back end. Same on all three. Crossfire, so I'm going to break him down, pick him back up, make him lope. I'm going to stay at this barrel because he's still not paying attention to me. Looking around a little bit. When he does it right, I'm going to let him leave.
Okay, you've got some more smaller exercises to do to kind of keep them moving in the front end and kind of warming up exercises. So show me kind of what you do normally?
I'll pick up the inside rein and just start them out walking a circle. Everything's slow, just making sure they're paying attention. Pick up both reins. I'm going to use my right foot, make him move around, let him walk out of it. Not trying to do a reining turnaround, I'm just trying to keep that horse's front end pulling around the circle, keeping forward motion. I'll use my left leg, let him walk out of it. Ask him again to come to me. Again, just keeping them horses coming to you on your turns, you know, keeping them in those turns, keeping them coming to your hands.
Right.
Just anything that you can, any exercise or any cue that works to keep them horses broke.
More broker, the better they are, right?
Yeah, it's easier to go back and fix problems when you have them, have them broke.
Yeah. So, do y'all do your horses from the ground up? I mean,
We do. We don't break them. We have somebody put 30 days just breaking them, but we get them after that. I've got anything from 2-year-olds to 3-year-olds to problem horses. You know, we have a little bit of everything at the place. So you have to. There's a lot of things that you have to figure out with the problem horses, how to fix it, and I think every horse is different.
well, yeah, they're their own individuals and stuff like that. What exactly would you do? Okay, if you had some problem horses, say you had one come in, what approach would you have? Say you have one that's running past the first barrel. What approach would you take with that horse?
Just reinforcing the collection, working on rate all the time as far as setting them. Maybe I would bring them through the alleyway, maybe set them a few more times, reinforce that horse staying backed off the bit, coming back to me.
Okay.
Instead of going all the way up to my barrel, I would have them
set him a couple times.
couple times before I get to my first barrel.
Okay.
Just reinforcing
And we
them.
talked about a horse that's kind of getting in on you or getting out, so we got that part taken care of. And now I think also we want to mention they have a website. It's called PlentyTinyRanch.com, so be sure and check that out. It's got, what do you have on your website?
I've got horses for sale on there, just things about the ranch and how it started, I guess. There's a little paragraph on that. Talks about Bob shoeing. He's got his own page on there as far as doing corrective shoeing. And just some of there's a gallery where it shows places that we've won and what we've done, a little bit about us.
Cool. And y'all go all over the country to compete and.
Yep, we go to super shows and rodeos and fraternities. We do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So.
It's always good to be diversified when you're a horse trainer.
Yeah.
And like you said, you take tune-ups, you take colts, you take private lessons.
We do. We have a lot of kids that come from junior rodeos to high school rodeo kids that come, and we help them out. Bob ropes too, so he helps them. He helps some college kids, some high school kids. So
And
even
now
do a
you're
little
doing
goat tying every now and then.
Which one does the goat tying?
Both of us.
Oh man, y'all are all around athletes.
Well, the older you get, the harder it is.
No, I'm telling you, I never could get past a 10. That was really fast for me. They're tying 7s now. And also, you started doing your clinics too. So
Yes.
be on the lookout for Marnie's clinics. And does Bob do any kind of shoeing demonstration or anything during the clinics?
He's there to talk about the shoeing. We had a lot of questions. I think it's hard for people to find, good horseshoers out there. So we had a lot of questions on shoeing at the last clinic. So he's always there to answer questions.
Now I'm here with Marnie's second half, better half. Is that what you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Bob Loosnort. And Bob is a horseshoer. That's what I do mainly for a living. He also ropes calves and team ropes bulldogs, and you've made it to the IPRA finals as well. So you understand kind of about horses and about how they should move, and so you go all over and shoe horses, mainly your own and other barrel racers, anybody.
I got about a 2-hour radius, sir.
So Bob's going to give us a little demonstration about what he thinks on each individual horse, kind of what you think is important. First of all, you tell me when you first came in here, what are the 2 things that are most important about shoeing?
Level and balanced. Level and balance is the most important.
And tell me what you mean by level and balance. So
Level meaning when you look at the foot, the foot is level with the conformation of the horse. this horse here, he knees out just a little bit. So whenever in his foot flight, his knee is going to bend more to the outside. So his foot's going to come to the inside when he takes a step. And what happens is, if you level this horse up, when I pick this horse's foot up, if he'll let me do it, when I pick this horse's foot up, it's going to point more that way. It's not going to be dead straight right here.
Right.
So when I level this horse up, I let that leg hang and let the foot hang off of the leg and level it according to his bone structure here.
Okay.
And balanced, meaning when this horse does take a step and he lands, he doesn't land on the side of his foot, which would also be level. I mean, it has something to do with being level. But whenever that horse breaks over, he breaks straight over his frog, the point of his frog, and hits flat.
And hits flat. He doesn't hit like high on one side or low
High on one side, low on the other.
Now, is this like on every horse, the level part, they're going to hit
flat?
And so how would a person go about looking at their horse after their horseshoer's done?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same as what I do. If I have a horse that I haven't shod before, 90% of the time I'll watch it walk on concrete or a real hard level surface and watch it. If their back feet, for instance, when they take a step, before they pick that foot up out of that step, they'll twist and then go. That tells me that that horse is unlevel somewhere in that foot. Okay. And in the front feet, when they hit the ground, they'll hit on the outside or hit on the inside, and then they'll also twist before they pick it up. And if you'll watch a horse walk, if he's twisting or if he's landing on one side of the foot or the other, he's not level. Probably the third thing that I see, I shoe a lot at the shows. I used to shoe a whole lot more than I do now. But at the shows, I'll always have my tools and tack on a lot of shoes. What I see is a lot of horseshoers shoeing horses undershod. They don't have near enough steel under them.
Too small of a shoe.
Too small of a shoe.
Yeah.
Yes. And too small of a shoe will contribute to contracted heels, underrun heels, strained tendons, all kinds of different. They'll develop arthritis in their ankles, in the joints down below their ankles, between P1 and P2, and in their coffin bone, navicular, all kinds of diseases that horses' front ends get from being undershod.
Okay, Bob, now we're talking, and we left off on the fuller shoes and undershod can have contracted heels. And the other horse, talk about the difference in his conformation towards this mare is a little more racy bred. Talk about the feet.
In my opinion, that other horse was Frenchman's Guy bred, and a lot of that goes back to your cow horse, older working horse type, and he had a lot of bone under him, and he had a lot more heel. And I think in the racehorse bred horses like this one, they've gotten a lot more thoroughbred influence. A thoroughbred foot is notorious for not having any heel, and you really got to shoe them horses totally different, in my opinion. On the other horse, I don't have to fit him near as full, hang as much shoe out behind, stuff like that, because he's going to have a good heel and keep a good heel, all the way through.
And when you say full, now explain to me what you mean by full.
When I'm talking about full, I want this horse here is about 3 weeks on her front feet, and she's still got probably a 1/4 of an inch of growing room in this heel, where she can still grow in the next 2 to 3 weeks before I reshoe her. I want this, when I started, these horses are gonna grow a lot more toe than they do heel.
Right.
And whenever they do that, that shoe moves forward with the growth. So after 5 weeks to 6 weeks, I still want steel underneath these heels on this foot. Okay.
So if they're not, you're saying that they may have too small of a shoe on them.
And if you pick your horse's foot up a week after your horseshoer has shod it, and their heel is right to the outside of that shoe, I mean, he's not fitting them full enough. And I'd rather, I'd rather fit one full and come back and tack it on than underfit one with a shoe, put too small a shoe on to keep it on.
Right.
So I don't have to go back to put it back on, you know.
Right.
I'd rather fit one full and have to go back and tack it on than cause any kind of diseases in this horse's front feet and legs.
Now, what kind of shoes do you normally? I noticed she had a rim on, so.
I start all of Marnie's horses and all the barrel horses that I start shoeing. I start them out with a rim on the front and a regular keg shoe on the back.
Okay.
I use St. Croix, the St. Croix rim shoes on the front. They have a really good nail pattern on them. They've got a bevel at the front of the shoe that gives them horses a good breakover.
Okay.
I'll use a keg shoe on the back. I think out of probably 15 or 20 barrel horses that we haul at the house, I think that there's probably 2 of them that I have rims on the back.
Okay.
I don't put rims on the back unless I absolutely have to. If she's got one that's sliding past barrels and still doing everything right, I'll go ahead and try a rim on the back.
Right.
If she's got a 4-wheel drive horse, what I call a 4-wheel drive horse, they really pull with all 4 feet and run around the barrel. I'll try a rim on them, especially if they're scattering, you know, on the back sides and stuff. Her Ricochet de Fame mare, she gets rims all the way around. She 4-wheel drives.
Yep.
Her other mare that she's been rodeoing on and taking to the 4Ds is that Fame's Little Banner. She really slides, really uses her butt.
Yeah.
And if I put plates on her, she will just slide right on by the first barrel.
Yep.
I mean, that's just her. Put rims on her, she can handle herself really well, and it does a good job on her.
Well, they say that some rim shoes make a horse sore, but in the case of horses that are having ground trouble, that seems like to me would be even more of a problem because it puts more stress when they're sliding past having to work harder rather than putting a rim shoe on them.
Yes.
So how do you feel about that?
I agree with that. Totally. It has everything to do with the horse and how they run. If I've got one, like I said, sliding by, I'm going to do a lot more damage to that horse sliding by, or a back foot sliding up and hitting the front leg, you know, than I am going to put a rim on it and still be able to slide and use itself without catching.
Right.
You know, like I said, probably 80% of her horses I have keg shoes on.
Right.
And the horses that I shoe, the barrel horses that I shoe, because that's what I mainly do is shoe barrel horses. 80% of them horses get along just fine with the keg shoe on the back. You know, they learn how to handle themselves and everything is fine.
Right.
It's a good all-around shoe. On the back legs, I do the same.
Okay.
As far as fitting one full, I like to see shoe
right.
from the back quarter all the way back, almost coming perpendicular on the back side of the ball with the heel.
Okay.
What that does is that protects that horse from burning their ankles. We don't use back boots on a lot of our horses because I fit them a lot fuller. I believe I fit them full enough where they don't need back boots, but every once in a while we get one that uses its butt enough, like that Fame's Little Banner, that we do use back boots. If their hair's ruffled up on the back when we get back from a barrel race, then they start using back boots on them. But like I said, probably 75 or 80% of them, you know, we don't have to use back boots on them because I fit them full enough back there.
Well, that sounds really good. I wish you'd lived closer to me. And also, he said that he shoes, what do you say, 75, 80% of barrel horses? Or
Yes.
most of the barrel horses?
Mostly
I can't
barrel
believe he's
horses.
sane doing that because barrel racers will drive you crazy. And I can say that because I know I do it to mine. But anyway, is there anything else that you want to address on your shoeing?
I do use some aluminums on the front. I won't use aluminums on the front feet just for the weight. I think as big and stout as these horses are, and they're at least 4 years old when we're running them, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. No, there'll be, you know, this is my own opinion. You ask 10 other horse shearers, you get 10 other opinions. But I use aluminums on front feet for therapeutic reasons. If I've got a horse that's got real chippy, peely feet,
Okay.
Thin soles, I'll use a flat aluminum. If I don't have enough heel on one, if I've got underrun heels on a horse, I'll use an aluminum with a little wedge. And of course, you got all your horses that I shoe for some vets also. So you got your horses that's got ring bone and navicular and founder and everything else, all them other foot diseases that, you know, I use aluminums a lot on them.
Now, do you have a forge that you make, you know, make your shoes?
I have a forge, but as far as using it for making shoes, no. The manufacturers of shoes now, today, they make everything. You can buy everything that you can make and do it in 10 times less time.
Do you do the hot shoeing? Do you hot shoe them?
I do a little, not very much.
Okay.
Not very much at all. Most of it's all cold shoeing. If I got to pull clips on a horse, if I got to run a trailer on a back foot, stuff like that, I'll light my forge and use that.
Use it a little bit. Okay.
Stuff like that.
Now, okay, the aluminum shoes, are you talking about aluminum like training plates aluminum?
No, I'm talking about, I personally, I like the Kirkharts.
Okay.
They have a really good 2-degree shoe. It's a soft aluminum. It's really easy to work with, but yet it lasts. I can usually get a reset out of it, out of those shoes. They have a good nail placement. They got 6 nail holes on each side, so you can pick your nail holes. I use a 4.5 race nail on them shoes a lot because most of the horses that I use them on have bad feet. Thin walls, you know, thin soles. So I'll use a little bitty nail in there so I can stress them even less, you know, stress that foot even less.
Pull the hoof off when you pull it away. They don't, you know, their nails can grow. Their nail holes can grow out. You know, it doesn't
their nail
crack.
holes can grow out. Their feet can grow with that. Anytime you put a nail in a foot, you're weakening it. So when the smaller nail that you can use, the less weak you're going to make that foot. You're not going to compromise the dexterity of that foot in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. Wow, he's given us a lot of information, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank Marnie and Bob for coming on the show. They've done a great job at giving us knowledge, Marnie, of riding horses and some exercises to keep your horses more broke and keep them working the barrels better. Bob has given us some information to help you have a better shod horse, to help your horseshoer shoe your horse better, to even if you have to change horseshoers to get a horse shod better. What they say is no foot, no horse, and I firmly believe that. You also have a sponsor, so tell me a little bit about your sponsor name. And
it's Lubricin. It's a daily dose of hyaluronic acid. I use it on, I've got 7 horses that I use it on. I've seen a lot of results. As far as Ricochet to Fame has some knee issues, and it's really helped her. Less injections, the less you have to go in the joint, you know, the better off I believe it is. So it's really helped lengthen the time between injections. Young horses, it seems like we don't have to go to the vet as much and have those injections done. So I really like the product.
And you were telling me that a vet, wasn't it a vet that developed it, or he's using it, and he's and tell me about him.
Dr. Allday is the man that come up with Lubricin, and they're working on trying to get it where humans can use it too.
Oh, okay.
But you got to go through a lot of regulations and whatnot,
right.
You know. But it's really pure. It's absorbed through the horse's esophagus. It never does reach their stomach. It goes right into their bloodstream through their esophagus, and that's the main. You know, all them products that you feed your horses, all your supplements, it's all on how they're absorbed.
Right.
And this is there's a lot of imposters that say that they put more hyaluronic acid in and whatnot, but Lubricin is the purest and the best product that's out there as far as we're concerned.
And where did they go to check and get information? Do they have a website, or?
You can contact us.
Okay.
At Plenty Tiny Ranch. Our phone numbers are on there, and we'll get you in touch with our rep.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Well, I appreciate y'all coming today. Thank you very much, and we sure have enjoyed coming to Indiana and the Midwest. It's not the East Coast, I know now. So, thank you again for joining us. I'm Charlotte Cunningham with Winning Runs.